Now, the second aspect of macro is thinking through how we think about concentration, right? Again, many people have been asking me for a good part of 24, why is your portfolio having 37, 38, 39 stocks? There are too many. And the answer to that was never about saying what is too many. The answer to that is how do I give you guys a framework to think about when should you concentrate, or at least when will ITIS concentrate, right? If you took a today look at our portfolio, it is a lot more concentrated. Why? Right. So I'll give you a framework to think about concentration. It doesn't mean it has to work every time, but this is just to give you a history. So what we did was we took NSE 500, which is the top 500 companies in India, and we plot what is called the concentration index. So what is concentration index? So I'll explain it in a very simple language. Let's say there is one stock in your index. The weight of that stock is 100%, right? So the concentration index is the summation of weight square. That means all the individual companies weight square. Why am I doing it? It's very similar to how inflation is done globally, the HHI index. So you normalize it. So in this case, it will be summation of 100 square, that's 10,000. Assume there are two stocks in the index, each being 50%. So in this case, it will be summation of 50 square plus 50 square, that's 5,000. So what you will see is as the number of names keeps increasing, concentration index will keep falling, right? So if you plot NSE 500's concentration index over the last 22 years, you will get a plot like what I have shown you in this graph. So you'll see it's a random plot according right now, but I'll put some definition into this randomness. So you'll see periods of concentration going down and up. So it's random, right? But on purpose, every time the concentration has gone down, I've put it in green. And every time the concentration has gone up, I've marked it in red. Why is that? Because next to this green and red, you'll see three numbers. These three numbers are the annualized IRR of Nifty 50, Nifty mid cap, and Nifty small cap over these periods. So, for example, between 21 and 24 end, roughly around slightly over 3.5 years, the concentration index went down, which meant the mid and small cap gave you 37 and 35% IRR as against Nifty 50 at 23. You'll see the same pattern across time. So every time the concentration index goes down, mid and small caps outperform. That's why their weights increase. Every time the concentration index goes up, mid and small cap tend to underperform. And you are seeing a turn, which is what I have marked here, where the concentration index is increasing after a period of 4 years where it's reducing. So what does this mean, right? This does not mean you have to go and sell all your mid and small caps, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just because mid and small caps have fallen 25%, many people want to invest in the index. I don't think it's a broad-based rally anymore as far as mid and small caps is concerned. But doesn't mean you have to blanket sell it. So for example, between 18 and 20, this was a period where mid-cap index gave you a negative 8% IRR, small-cap index gave you a negative 15% IRR, and Nifty 50 gave you 2% IRR. But your best performing sector in those 2 years was the chemical index, which gave you as an index an 18% IRR. And chemical index was only mid and small caps. So I am not saying no mid and small caps will do well, but I am saying a blanket mid and small cap will not do well, because at least from a probability perspective, it doesn't make sense as far as we are concerned. And it goes in line with what we have been seeing in the last 2 quarters, where earnings have been narrowing. And I expect that to continue. What does that statement mean? And I'll put some numbers to this. As of June 2024 quarter, 53% of Nifty 500 companies beat the Nifty 500 average. As of September 2024, that number dropped to 44.5. As of December, it dropped to 41. And I expect this to drop further. So fewer companies are beating the average. Fewer companies are going to perform as far as we are concerned. So the same thing, we've done it from a price chart perspective. So what's the chart on the left? It tells you the Nifty 500 index performance between September and December 2024. The chart on the right is the Nifty 500 performance between Jan and March 2025. As against the Nifty 500 performance, we put the median return. Median is the 250th stock return. So in a broad-based market, the median return will beat the Nifty 500 because more of your stocks will outperform, right? Whereas in a narrower market, as you enter a narrower market, your median performance of your stock will underperform the Nifty 500. And this underperformance will widen, which is what you are seeing in as you go from September deck 2024 to Jan March 2025. And I expect this trend to continue. What does this mean? This is now a market where concentration can pay off. Why? Because fewer companies tend to outperform from an earnings perspective. If you can position your portfolio now, where valuations are also comfortable and fewer companies outperform, now it makes sense to concentrate. Whereas in a period like 2024, risk reward was not right for you to concentrate. So that's broadly how we think about concentration and why you will see lesser number of companies today, the top 10 weights being a lot higher. And we'll cover that in terms of the single stocks, but at least from a macro perspective.